From LALATE News Headquarters in Santa Monica, this is Mornings LALATE.
It's a big morning of early mornings LALATE with big updates about your fourth stimulus check, those monthly stimulus checks that are coming in the month of July, and that fifth stimulus package that will provide you more money if you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, and rail benefits. It's the SSI reform. Today, the President of the United States debuts to the American people officially the fourth stimulus package and the fifth stimulus package together. I'll go over what is going to be done today and what's going to be said, and also what's not going to be said. Meantime, I'll be going over the big surprising details about corporate earnings yesterday. I told you that Alphabet, Microsoft, and Starbucks was going to report yesterday, and you're going to be shocked how it impacts your stimulus checks. Then we look forward to what's coming up later today with the Federal Reserve talking about long-term unemployment and also stimulus checks on that impact. And finally, we'll look at the standalone items, like that executive order that was announced by the president yesterday that could impact your pocketbook. It's a big morning. The toast is toasted. The butter is buttering. I'm here. You're here. Let's get to it. This is Early Mornings LALATE. Good morning, everybody. The toast is toast, and the butter is buttering, and the coffee is brewing. I'm here, you're here, but the bacon is still missing. Year 2 of this channel, and I'm going out of focus. But I'm staying in focus with you. Why was I so out of focus? There I am. Yeah, I almost went out of focus again. There I am. Just a blur. Just a haze. It must be the climate. Did he tax the climate again? How are you? It's Early Mornings LALATE, our easy breezy, lighthearted coverage of 4 stimulus, those monthly stimulus checks that will land in your bank account starting the month of July, and that incredible news about fifth stimulus coming in September. How are you? If you've not subscribed, make sure you subscribe. Also like this video. And if you've not become a member, consider becoming a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, Calcino VIP. Let's get right to the breaking details. First, fourth stimulus is heating up, and fourth stimulus is getting closer by the minute. That fourth stimulus package and fifth stimulus package will be debuted today. Now, let me explain what you're going to hear today and what you're not going to hear. Fourth stimulus checks, plural, will be put in the fourth stimulus package by Senate Democrats and House Democrats. The president's not going to put it in there, but he's also not going to veto it. He's going to put in infrastructure and climate and roads and things like that. But those Democrats in the House and Senate are going to put those monthly stimulus checks in there for you. Today, the president will be debuting the fourth stimulus package. He won't be talking about stimulus checks. Just don't expect him to mention them. He's not going to mention them. They're putting them in there. Then, later today, the president will also talk about fifth stimulus. Fifth stimulus will include SSI reform. And who's putting them in there? Again, the same people, those Senate Democrats and those House Democrats. He will not be talking about SSI reform. Again, he's not putting it in there. So I want you to understand that when you hear these press conferences today, when you hear him talking before Congress, you're not going to hear your items mentioned. Doesn't mean it's not happening. So you're informed ahead of time what to anticipate. All right, let's get to the breaking details. Those 4 stimulus checks got closer to the finish line yesterday as we saw no progress on the bipartisan support, and we see going into tomorrow, Thursday, that the unemployment numbers could look much the same. This is why House Democrats several weeks ago said we need a bill that would provide you a lot more stimulus checks. Their bill would provide $1,000 of recurring monthly stimulus checks ongoing through the pandemic that continues 1 year after the crisis continues for families to recover. Let's go over the amount of money at issue and how the 2 stimulus packages differ. You just saw the House plan. That's 1 year plus the end of the pandemic. So the pandemic has 6 more months, then it would be 6 more months plus 1 year, 18 months of stimulus checks. The senators would give stimulus checks between now and December. And then the House members are more progressives, the senators are more moderates. The amount of the stimulus checks, you just saw the House members would pay $1,000 after the first month of $2,000. The senators are amount unknown, but word on the streets, it looks like this amount. And that amount is $2,000 a month or $1,400 a month. This is for an individual. So if it starts in the month of July, $2,000 a month is $12,000. And if it's $1,400 a month over 6 months, that's $8,400. This would be coming to you. Who gets it? If you make less than $75,000, you. If you make $150,000 as a married couple, you, just times 2. Household up to 4 and SSI, SSDI, Social Security, and Railroad benefits, you get it as well. When would you get it? Yesterday, someone in Afternoons LA's live chat, always jump into that live chat. I love that show because I get to interact with you. Someone asked, why does the recon take 2 months? It just does. It's a long process. It's a 2-month process. It involves the tow truck going over the finish line. That's a Senate House bill for just the procedural part. And then they got to go back and do the tow hitch. That's a substantive part. It's 2 bills. And those 2 bills take a while. They have to go subcommittees. If it was a bipartisan bill, they could do it in 3 days. It's not a bipartisan bill. So it takes a while. Start in May, finish in July. When would you see the first month of checks? July. Leader Schumer, Speakers Pelosi say the vote will be by July 4th. First check would be July, for the month of July, not in waves. They can't do waves. They got to send them all out at the same time because off we go to the next month. Not income doesn't qualify as income, not taxable doesn't disqualify you for benefits, and away we go. That's the 4th stimulus package, the infrastructure bill, the American Jobs Plan. Again, those House and Senate members are going to put it in there. The president is not. Then we focus on 5th stimulus. That's the September stimulus. And that is the American Family Plan. And again, senators and House members are going to put in something for you. And this is where they detailed, page after page, what they're going to put in for you. In a scathing letter, they told the president that he had promised to deliver these items to the American people when running for president, that he had yet to do it. He had not to put it into the 3rd stimulus or the 4th stimulus, so they're putting it in the 5th stimulus. And what is 5th stimulus? 5th stimulus will include this, what I call SSI reform, but it's for all of you. SSI, SSDI, Social Security, and Railroad benefits all included. Let me go over the details, and then we're going to go over the specifics. First, it would involve the following items. It would increase your benefits, remove the asset limits, add an inflationary benchmark, remove the income exclusion, and remove the marriage penalty, bringing the price tag of the 5th stimulus to $1 trillion. All right, let's go over to the details of how it works. Very easy. You know how I do it on this channel. I make everything very simple. First, they would take your benefits and raise them to a new number. That would be your new number. That would be your new number going forward. And that new number you would see effective as soon as they do it. Then a new benchmark, a new report released yesterday said that your current benchmark, which is COLA, delivered you on average $20 of increased benefits from the year before. Can you imagine $20? It said that the average cost, that the cost of living adjustment was 1.3%. This was in a year in which car and truck expenses grew 31%, laundry expenses grew 24%, gasoline was 22%, and home heating oil was 20%, meaning it went up 20%. And that laundry went up 24%. But your cost of living adjustment was 1%. Ridiculous. So what are they going to do? Throw it away. They're going to give you a new adjustment. And that new benchmark that adjusts your benefits every December would be inflation. The Federal Reserve Jerome Powell, I just butchered that one. The Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell what did I say? The federal Jerome Powell chair is detailing this week what he's anticipating for the rest of this year. He's anticipating that long-term inflation will be 2 to 4%, that the economy will continue to need stimulus going forward. And so with that, you know that your benefits are going to increase about 2 to 4% year after year. Never go lower, always stay the same or go higher. Incredible, great news. Then they're going to remove the asset cap that some of you have. It dates back to 1984, says you can't have more than $3,000 on hand. Third or fourth, they're going to remove the income cap that says you can't work. Some of you want to work. Well, they're going to remove that, allow you to work $12,000, $24,000 a year and still stay on benefits. And finally, the marriage penalty. If you have it, you know what that marriage penalty is. If you don't have it, you don't know what it is. And they're going to get rid of it. Absolutely incredible, great news. So when this is fifth stimulus, this would go by recon, a 2-month process. You would see the benefits of this hit your benefits statement around November, and away we go. So with that, that is what's happening today. The president will debut today the fourth stimulus, the American Jobs Plan, that will provide you monthly stimulus checks, and the fifth stimulus package that will provide SSI reform, the American Family Plan. Here's what you need to know going into the new day. First, the president will categorically not mention stimulus checks under the fourth stimulus package. It is something that the senators, the House members, will put in there. Second, he will not mention SSI reform. He's not putting it in there. They're putting it in there. Third, you're not going to see either of these items go by bipartisan support. They both need recon. And why are we hearing both of them at the same time? I don't know. That answer, I absolutely don't know. What is the president going to do between now and next week? He will have a tour. His press secretary confirms the president is going on tour to announce the fourth and fifth together. Why are we doing one tour with two items at the same time? I don't know. All I do know is that there is a series of items that I am concerned that are expiring in July. Well, really September. But Congress goes on vacation from July to September. They're expiring in September. And I hope they do consider whether or not they want them to expire or not. And you know what they are. They are eviction moratorium, mortgage forbearance, PEUC, PUA, FPUC, all expire in September. Do we want these to expire? Do we know if we should let them expire? Here's the problem. As we see here in April, there are 16 million jobs missing and 8 million unemployed, 8 million jobs missing, 16 million jobs, 16 million Americans still unemployed long term. Tomorrow, the unemployment numbers come out again every Thursday morning before sunrise. Where are those numbers going to be by July? I would hope that these congressional leaders take ownership and put an extension for all these programs into the fourth stimulus package if by the time we get into June, we don't see this economy rebounding at any faster rate. Rebounding this economy is dependent upon jobs. The jobs numbers come out once a month. The unemployment numbers come out once a week. But here's what you need to know going into the new day is that a series of reports came out after the bell yesterday, and they were surprising. They were the Alphabet earnings report for Q1 2021, the Microsoft, and the Starbucks. Let me go over each of them. First, Google's parent, which is called Alphabet, and the parent company of YouTube, blew it out of the ballpark. Their earnings came in at $26 a share, and Wall Street is expecting $15. Revenues was a beat, $55 billion versus $51 billion. And YouTube came in at $6 billion when Wall Street is expecting only $5.25. Then we turn to Microsoft's earnings that came in yesterday, also an enormous beat. Microsoft came in at $1.95 a share. Wall Street expecting $1.78. Revenues were a beat as well, just not as significant across the board. And then we had the numbers coming in from Starbucks. And Jim Cramer had said Starbucks was potentially going to be flat. Oh, no, it was not. Starbucks posted its best numbers since pre-pandemic levels, earning 62 cents. Wall Street expecting 53 cents. And revenues were a miss at 6.7. Wall Street expecting 6.8. So with that, what you need to know going into the new day is that The economy is rebounding, but no one can really gauge how strong the economy is rebounding. I've always said to you that I was worried the economy may rebound too fast, that the stimulus checks come too late, and that people may get cold feet. Now I have to consider the other option. And what is that other option? That potentially the economy is going to recover slower than we thought, and that we're going to need to provide more unemployment extension of benefits and more eviction, more moratoriums and mortgage forbearance longer. And I hope that Congress is considering that as well. Coming up after the commercial break, I have that executive order for the President of the United States. I'll be going over more about what's going on with all these taxes and also what's going on with student loan debt forgiveness and the business assistance. All that and more coming up after this commercial break. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on Mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE. And the excitement continues shortly after this with Mornings LALATE at 12 noon Eastern Standard Time. Then we go into noontime at 2 p.m. on the East Coast, and then afternoons LALATE. Our programming schedule is easy breezy to follow. There's a new show every 2 hours, so you can't miss it, and you can't miss the breaking news. We go into afternoons LALATE at 6 p.m. with the second show, then evenings LALATE at 8 p.m., and then LA Late Night every night, that irreverent show with Sirloin and Javita Late. How are you? The toast is toast and the butter is buttering. I'm here, and if you've not subscribed, make sure you subscribe. I want you to be part of this family as we start our second year. Also, like this video. Every like really helps. Share the video, like the video, and tell your friends to come on over. Also, consider becoming a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, or Calcino VIP. The link's at the top of this chat. Yesterday, the President of the United States announced a major executive order, and his executive order that I thought he had done before. That executive order provides that federal employees who work for the federal government as contract employees will get a raise. It will be $15 an hour minimum wage from a current level of $10.95. Again, these are federal contractors, like a gardening company that does the lawn at the federal building. The White House press release says employers may seek to raise the wages for employers earning above $15 as they try to recruit them. And the research shows the minimum wage increase is needed. It is needed. But ironically, it doesn't take effect until March 30th, 2022. I thought, ironically, that this was signed into law months ago because the president first mentioned it in January. Well, also missing is Miguel Cardona's executive order memo. Where is it, Miguel? Miguel Cardona, your education secretary, was tasked to produce that memo over 3 weeks ago. It's now 2 weeks missing. And people are starting to wonder why Elizabeth Warren and Chuck Schumer have not stayed on point. Broadcast media has been asked as well. Yesterday, Elizabeth Warren went out on broadcast media and talked about taxes. Now, ultimately, viewers of this channel are having issues with congressional leaders who go from one subject to another and cover a lot of subjects at the same time, but don't circle back. Elizabeth Warren has talked about SSI reform, has signed the MSC letter for multiple stimulus checks when the fourth stimulus package gets there, has signed the letter for SSI and SSI-DI reform under the fifth stimulus, and has done other things, but yesterday she was back talking about corporate taxes. Well, the good thing about her corporate tax statement yesterday was it's so different from the White House. The White House's statement for corporate taxes is change the corporate tax rate for every corporation, whether it's small, two-person corporation or an LLC. Elizabeth Warren doesn't focus on that. She focuses on big companies. And yesterday she spoke about Fortune 50 companies, Fortune 100, and Fortune 500, who she said are not paying enough in taxes. Previously, she focused on billionaires and trillionaires. The president, for some reason, does not want to focus on the higher echelons. He wants to focus on a lot lower groups. Well, here's the problem, is when the president debuts the fourth stimulus package today and the fifth stimulus package today, Americans are going to start to ask for real specifics about the tax rates, the tax codes, for who and how. The president has been very artful, to use a nice expression, in the last few weeks of dodging what the numbers are and for who. The press secretary said has not made a determination. The economic council member says, I don't have authority to say it yet. Okay, now is the opportunity you're debuting the provisions. Now is the opportunity to tell us the rates and for who and how it works. No more dancing behind it. It comes as some broadcast media yesterday ran a series of polls where they asked Americans, do you like this? Do you like the fourth? Do you like the fifth stimulus package? They don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. How would they know what it is? We haven't seen the provisions. Why would we say whether we like it or not? Yeah, I like fixing the roads. Ask me that question. I like fixing the roads. Well, do you like fixing the roads where we tax people at 100% tax bracket? No. So, we don't know the complete picture. And today, hopefully, will be the complete picture. In 2020, Nancy Pelosi was certainly guilty of always talking in generalities and never talking about numbers. We will see if that will change today with this White House. Ultimately, there's a lot of issues at hand, and let me try to make it simple to you. The president, over both the fourth and the fifth stimulus packages combined, has talked about no less than changing 5 different tax instruments. The question is which tax instrument will be touched in which package and for which years. He has talked about changing the corporate tax rate, changing the capital gains tax rate, changing the inheritance tax rate, changing the wealth tax rate, changing the personal tax rate. So he's talked about changing a lot of different items. And all these items are very, very different. The instruments are very different. The White House has been accused by some detractors and some other people by trying to tell you the impact of their proposal, but not telling you the proposal. Well, today, when we see these taxes, we're going to hopefully hear the rate. And ultimately, what you need to know is that until you hear the complete picture, don't pass judgment on whether it's good or bad. We just don't know. We don't know. Here's an example. A new report released yesterday said that when you're touching capital gains taxes, you have to touch the step-up inheritance tax. What does that mean? If you inherit something from someone when they die, let's say Tesla shares that they bought at $10, but when they died, it was $1,000, then what happens to you? Well, there is a change in the capital tax rate that the president's proposing. But if he does not do the change the step-up rate, then the person who inherits those Tesla shares won't have any tax burden, meaning that they will carry the 10% $10 basis that the parent had. If I just lost you, I probably did. Why? Because taxes are very boring to talk about. There's nothing more boring to put on a YouTube channel than taxes. But in the same regard, it's sort of a balancing act for me on this channel because I want you to know the impact of all these amounts on your pocketbook. And ultimately, I don't want to put you to sleep. But in the same regard, I also don't want to leave you without the complete picture. So this is what I need you to know. There's a series of taxes, capital gains, personal taxes, corporate taxes, inheritance taxes, and other potential taxes that could be impacted. We don't know the rates, for who, for how much, or what matter. And until we see the whole picture, we shouldn't pass judgment. Meantime, why has the president not gotten to other certain things? And why did Richard Neal do what he did yesterday? Oh boy. Who is Richard Neal, and why is America just sort of surprised about what's going on? Let me tell you what's going on. Richard Neal's head of the Ways and Means Committee, and he's one of the most important people whenever we're doing a stimulus package. Now, I'm not saying he's going to derail your stimulus packages. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying he's an important person in the ingredients to getting things done. He had the vast majority of the third stimulus package to pass under his dominion as head of the Ways and Means, and he did. Did he give you FPC retro? No. Hazard pay? No. Multiple stimulus checks? No. A single stimulus check? Actually, no. That came from the Senate. Did he give you anything? No. So what did he do today? Yesterday? He introduced a bill to give children over 17 years $4,000 a year. Yes, you did hear me right. $75,000 to newborn children over 17 years. Because in his mind, or in his words, we have to invest in the economic future. What economic future? What money is a 2-year-old going to do for this economy? What money is a 4-year-old going to do for this economy? And ultimately, why are we giving anyone $75,000 when we haven't given anyone hazard pay, haven't given anyone FPUC retro, haven't given anyone MSC, haven't given anyone SS200? Why are we giving someone who's just born upwards of $75,000 over 17 years? Not particularly clear. Here's what you need to know. The President of the United States initially wanted to do this. I detailed this several weeks ago. He, in fact, was on the record, quoted, telling his staff to go do it. They came back and said, we're not doing it. Rather, you're going to hear today that the president wants to do the same thing, just instead of 17 years, 6 years. Meaning he's going to put in the fifth stimulus package child care credits of 6 years of $4,000, which is $24,000. In the last 24 hours, his education council member, the Larry Kudlow replacement, said that this is investing in the economic competitiveness of our country. What? It's a 2-year-old. They're not economically competitive in anything. Why are we giving them $24,000? Now, to make this even clearer, here's what you need to know. Some of this money is going to children of people who make $100,000 a year. Why are we giving people who make $100,000 a year checks to their children? Second, why are we just giving checks from any value that could be used for any purpose? Here's what you need to know. There is no guidance, there's no guidelines, and there's no restrictions on what the money is to be used for. So the parents could literally use that money to buy the kids Nintendo games. Or the money could go right to the parents and may not be spent on the children at all. So there's not a lot of guidance as to how the money's to be used. This is a little bit different than Cory Booker's baby bill bond, which I detailed a few years ago. Remember that one? That was to give children money, keep it in the bank, and then when they become adults, they have a nice fund of money they can use for, as an adult, as an 18-year-old, in their own purpose. That's different here. This is just money being given to parents that may not give it to the children and may not use it for a purpose like education or food or school supplies or clothing, may just use it on things that shouldn't be spent money on, like $125 tennis shoes or $200 games from a console game operation. Not particularly clear. And so ultimately, you will see the President of the United States talk today about investing in the future, investing in our children. But ultimately, the question is, what and how and when? Here's the last thought that we'll leave on. Presidents like to establish legislation that lasts past their time in office. And ultimately, the reason why a lot of these price tags are very high is because they're proposing things that will last 17 years or 10 years or 20 years. They're trying to do things that last past their lifetime. And viewers often ask me, can someone else repeal it? They can. But here's what you need to know. We're still in the middle of a pandemic. We're not out of the pandemic. People need to get their feet on the ground and move forward. And ultimately, I hope that the White House, I hope that the administration, I hope that the Congress, and I hope that the Democrats and Republicans both understand that we need money to get through this pandemic. And as we come out of the pandemic, we need money as working Americans, as senior Americans, as adults, as retirees, as beneficiaries, as people on SSI and SSDI to get to the finish line. We don't need to be worrying about 20 years from now or 15 years from now. We need to be worrying about now. We need to know what will get us to the finish line And with that, I look forward to seeing you later today on this channel. The excitement continues in just a few hours from now. Are you going to join me? That excitement continues with Mornings LALATE coming up in a little bit. That Mornings LALATE is at 12 noon Pacific, at 12 noon on the East Coast. And then we go into 2 p.m.'s show, noontime, followed by Afternoons LALATE at 4 p.m. Then another show, Afternoons LALATE at 6 p.m., followed by Evenings LALATE at 8, and then LA Late Night, the Reverend Sirloin and Javita Late Show. With that, I'm so excited you're joining me this morning. If you've not subscribed, make sure you subscribe. Boy, what a year it's been. A year and just a few days. Trying to get to 400,000 subscribers, let's do it. Also, like this video. It really helps in the algorithm rankings. Tell people to come over, watch this channel, and become part of the family. And consider becoming a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, Calcino VIP, the link's at the top of the chat and also in the pinned comment. Stay informed, stay focused, keep on smiling. The toast is toasting. We're going to have a beautiful day, and I look forward to seeing you all throughout the day. And with that, stay informed, stay focused, keep on staying on point, and stay with LA.